right now. What are the hardest placements in the zodiac? I'm going to go through them right now with you. And if you do have these placements, I'm going to give you the solution in this video to overcoming the hardest placements. First one, we're talking about the first house and what is hard about this placement. When you have Saturn in the first house, one of the hardest placements, Saturn in the first house. Why? It's because what is the first house about? The first house is about self. What is Saturn about? Saturn is about discipline, structure, organization. And when you are like this, you gain materially and karmically. Okay? But if you're not self-disciplined, you get bad karma and you don't gain materially. Okay? So if you don't bring discipline, structure, organization, limitation into yourself, which is about how you look, your appearance, how you act, what you do. Self-discipline covers everything. Just everything you do has a level of self-discipline. And if you don't, you get punished. You get punished more than anyone when you are not disciplined. Your karma is based on your self-discipline. So it's very hard for you to perform in life because you can't get away with things that other people can. And you won't get paid for it, and you won't get good things happen to you for it. So you have to be disciplined. How you overcome this is by setting very strict routines into your life because you're here to win. You're here to achieve your goals. You're not here to do the average and the normal. You're here to win. As someone who has their first house in Saturn, you are here to show everybody how it is to be disciplined, structured, organized, because you know intrinsically how to do it. You just have to apply it. So that's one of the hardest placements, honestly. Next one. Saturn again. Saturn, I'm going to write it here so it's clear. Fourth house, Saturn. If the planet Saturn is in your fourth house, this is very tough for you. If you was born with this placement, emotionally, you never feel like you're comfortable. You never feel like you're at home. You never feel relaxed. Never. Like, even if you want to, even if you try, even if you're having a good time, relaxation, comfort does not exist. And this is based on where people with displacement, they basically have like a very tough childhood, very cold, childlike upbringing, in multiple ways, very harsh upbringing. Okay. And so therefore you don't know what warmth feels like. So sometimes you go into your adulthood not connecting and understanding what warmth is. But what you have to do as a fourth house in Saturn to actually connect to that warmth and feel at home and feel at ease in yourself, in your own psychology, because that's what's affected too, your psychology. Don't feel comfortable. What you have to do is you have to be very, very disciplined in your home. Your entire home environment, from the location you live, you have to do research and align it with yourself, okay? That's why it's so important to understand your birth chart. So the location you're in, the type of home you want, assessing the people you want in the home, and sometimes that may not be anybody. Sometimes that may be a whole family, whatever it may be, yeah? Then on top of that, you have to make sure you maintain your home in a very disciplined way. You basically have to, for you to actually not get karmically punished and not get materially punished because of your home, you have to basically be OCD in your house. If you don't have that level of OCD or close to it about your home, you will not succeed materially. You will continue to get bad karma. So you have to be highly selective of the environment, the type of house, the people in your house, and then you also the maintenance and the organization and the discipline of your house. Because this disciplines the mind. Because if you have a clean house or an organized house, then you have an organized mind. And then you can actually achieve on the external world. Okay? So this is what you have to do. Next, seventh house. The hardest placement was the seventh house. Saturn. I think you guys understand the theme of this. Saturn again. If you have Saturn in your seventh house, relationships. Because the seventh house rules relationships. Fourth house rules home. First house rules self. Seventh house rules relationships. Relationships for you You are somebody who actually needs a one-to-one relationship reading to know exactly the type of person you need to be with. Okay, and I do one-to-one sessions. You know, if you go onto my TikTok page or my Instagram page, click the link below, and I can give you a full birth chart reading so you can understand these things that I'm talking to you about right now, and many other things too. But if you have Saturn in your seventh house, you are the type of person that doesn't have a lot of relationships. You know, you could if you don't get married for 20 years, which most people in Saturn in the seventh house are married for 20 years. If you don't get married for 20 years, you'll probably only have 2 or 3 relationships in your entire life, like serious, actual relationships. And this is going to be something that's going to affect you big time, because you're going to wonder why I don't have connections, why people don't want to be with me. But it's because you need to be very disciplined and structured in order to selecting a person. If you get with a person if you get with a person that's not for you, karmically you become severely punished. And people who have Saturn in the seventh house, when they've had a bad relationship, you know, because they are feeling like death or close to it, because their karmic punishment for getting into a bad relationship, it destroys them. So the first thing people in Saturn in the seventh house have to do, they have to understand, first of all, themselves, and then they have to understand what type of person they need in their life. Because this Saturn in the seventh house, you will have no money and you will have no positive things happening to you if you don't make the right choice of relationship. If you are not serious with relationship, you can't do flings and stuff. If you even attempt to do that, you'll see the karmic punishment. You see that you lose money or you won't gain money the way you want to. It will happen instantly. Okay? 10th house, Saturn again. But I would say with the 10th house, compared to the other 3 houses, this is the least harsh. But it's still harsh, but it's the least one. Okay? So when you have your Saturn in your 10th house, you are somebody who has a career, because the 10th house rules career, rules your public image. Okay? But you're somebody who needs to, or struggles to feel fulfilled in your career. You could either be somebody who's making a lot of money and you feel like you're doing nothing. You feel like you're not achieving nothing. Or you maybe even find it hard to even get a job. You might find it hard to even obtain a career that you make the money that you're pleased with. Because if you're not very disciplined in terms of the job that you select that's aligned with you as a Saturn in the 10th house, you are going to suffer by by just having bad karma. And who wants bad things happening to them? Who wants that? Nobody wants that. Nobody, even if you're the worst person in the world, you don't want bad things to happen to you. Okay? You don't want it. And with the Saturn, you have to be very selective. You have to make a choice. Like, you have to be very meticulous in the choice you make for career. You have to be somebody who also has an image and a public persona that people are like, this person is amazing. People don't have a bad thing to say about you. Your reputation with this as well. Your reputation has to be at a high level. You cannot allow your reputation to drop. You cannot allow your image to drop. That means that when you're in the public eye, people with the 10th house in Saturn, your image is everything. And if you do not have the image, and if you do not operate in the way that is disciplined, structured, organized, and limited, if you act wild, you will get punished so harshly as a Saturn in the 10th house. You will lose money next day. Honestly, nobody wants to lose money. So this is something you have to understand. These 4 placements about Saturn, these are harsh placements, and you have to connect to your Saturn sign in the house, and you have to apply discipline and structure based on the traits of the house. Discipline in self, discipline in the home, discipline in relationships, discipline in career, and your public image. You do these things. If you have one of these placements, you need to do one of these things. There is no doubt about it. And if you want to understand more, book a one-to-one session with me, so that therefore you can understand if you have one of these placements, what to do, and I can align it and link it with your entire birth chart. So therefore you can live a life of less headache, less stress, and just more flow, more growth.